We're carbonizing Valentine's Day, so whether you're burning with love or been burned by love, this video is for you. So we've picked some traditional items for Valentine's Day. We've got a box of chocolates, a bouquet, and then some heart-shaped decorations. We'll show you a little bit more of each item. So we've got a box of chocolates here, and we are not going to carbonize the plastic because that would just be polluting. But you can see we've got several different types of chocolates. There are actually 4 different types. So these white ones here, these hearts with the little dots, the brown with the white stripes, and then the brown with the brown stripes. So chocolates are very high fat. So what I suspect is going to happen here is most of this chocolate's just going to vaporize, and we'll be left with just some little heart-shaped pieces of ash. Next up is this bouquet. It's actually been sitting on our kitchen table for a couple of weeks and dried out, lost its luster. And instead of just throwing it away, we decided to carbonize it to see what would happen. And each flower is going to carbonize a little bit differently. We'll see, this particular flower, if it loses all those details. We've got this rose over here. We'll see if it stays intact. It's already pretty dried out. And then we've got some other flowers. And it'll just be interesting to see how each one of these carbonizes. Lastly, we have these hearts, and we have painted these with some food coloring, so that way it's a non-toxic way to color the hearts. And we'll see how these turn out. These, I believe, are just made out of pine. These should carbonize very nicely because they're very low moisture and high carbon content. Now, though we use food coloring for these two, this is just straight food coloring. This one was actually a milk paint that we created out of milk and food coloring, and it'll be interesting to see if the calcium in it changes colors as it's carbonized, because we have seen that happen in the past. So it's time to carbonize this. We're going to load up other items for some other videos, and then we're going to get things fired up. We'll just get it, load the wood between the 2 barrels. So we got the fire going good now. So we'll put the lid on. Put these on just to keep the lid sealing tightly. There we go. We'll keep an eye on it, and we'll come back in a few hours. Time for the big reveal. Here's what we did for Valentine's Day. So I'm noticing some colors on some of these items. Oh, that's going to be pretty cool. All right, I want you to come look at this because I don't want to mess this up. So there is our box of chocolates. So I'm going to very carefully try to pick that out of there. I got it. That did not help. Time to check out the chocolates. You can still see some of the logo. Let's see if we can get this off. Okay, that's the topmost layer. All right. I said all right. So let's see if we could carefully get, this is the outer part of the lid right here. And as I suspected, the chocolate's completely vaporized. So what happened with the candy box is it basically, the different pieces that make it up just kind of shrunk on their own and then came apart. So this was the outer edge of the box. This was the outer label, and then this was an inner cover, or this was an inner liner. And then this is a combination of the the bottom of the box right here, and then this is the outer portion of the top of the box. So that's why you've got these two layers, and then whatever liner it had on the inside. So let me try to get this layer, this box apart. Oh, it's just gonna crumble. I didn't even realize it was multiple layers when we carbonized it. Oh, you know what? This is the sugar. This is the chocolates. Look. These are the chocolates here. So I didn't go down enough layers. So what we saw here and on the top of this, I think was just stuff that off-gassed. These are the hearts. You can see the outline of the hearts. So this is that sugar that burned up. So this is what actually happened to the chocolate. You can see the outlines of the heart. There's 1, 2, 3, and then kind of see the outline of the fourth one there. So it just melted, and then everything that was not carbon off-gassed. So this is probably not pure carbon, but pretty close. So now it's time to check out the bouquet and the hearts. So right away I see some really interesting colors. Now these colors are not left over from the flowers. These completely carbonized. This is actually leftover minerals that did not vaporize. And so depending on the time and temperature that we process these items, these minerals may off-gas or they may stay in place. So look at all these different colors. It looks like one of the flowers, or maybe two different types of flowers, had very high mineral concentration that caused that. And you can see right here in the middle, it's hard to get to without breaking things. You can see a very bright blue and purple flower that had carbonized. Now these were not the colors of the flowers when they went in here. This is a color that's resulting from the mineral content that was in these flowers. Because depending on time and temperature, these minerals will off-gas if it's a really high temperature and for really long. Otherwise, they'll just stay in place. And you can see on this flower, there's a little bit of brown. That's usually from iron or kind of a gold color. A little bit of that over here as well. Let's look at this flower. You remember it was kind of a greenish color, and you can see it really maintained its shape. But it is extremely brittle. Let's check out this rose. Oh, that's cool. Let's check out this rose in more detail. It maintained its shape. I actually expected it to break apart because of the moisture that was still in it. But you can see it's a little carbonized rose. We'll grab another rose here. Here's another rose, and you can see the browns and the blues and the purples, and that's from the mineral content. Okay, here's some of those smaller flowers. Okay, let's take all these out and look at the hearts. So let's try to get these hearts out. There's one. I think this was one of the plain ones. Unpainted, so before and after. You can tell it shrunk considerably and then became very brittle. Here's another of the plain hearts. Now what's interesting about the next two hearts is these are the ones that were painted. So this one was painted in that food gel, and you can see there was some component of that food gel that caused it to have this silvery sheen, possibly iron in it. Oh wow, it's so brittle, it's just falling apart. But it's got more of a silver sheen with some bronze in it compared to the plain wood. And then this is the one we really wanted to check out. This was the milk paint. And you can see what happens when you have the calcium from the milk. It actually, after it's carbonized, will turn this bronze color. Sometimes you can get a little bit of white with calcium also. So we ended up doing 4 hearts, 2 that were plain, these 2, and then one that had the food gel dye on it that was bright red, and then the pink one that had the food gel dye and some milk. And that's what's interesting about some of the items that we carbonize is we'll get these colors based on the mineral content of the item. So another really interesting thing is what happened to the aluminum pan. Now most of it is black because of the material that was off gas stuck to it. But where the hearts were, it was covered up, and you can see that the metal actually changed colors. And the stainless steel pans that we've used will also do this a little bit. Let's look at the underside of it and see if there's anything. Oh yeah, look at the colors there. Very pretty. So with the heart that we have not carbonized, it's still very tough. I can't break that even if I really tried. But this one, just fingertips, and it breaks. What you're seeing here is actually the growth rings in the wood. It's just a little bit different density at each of these layers. And then look how brittle it is. I can just crush it. And that is nearly pure carbon. Probably about 70 to 80% carbon. So this would make a unique gift, but it wouldn't survive shipping. These flowers would make a pretty cool gift, but I don't recommend these chocolates. So if you have any fun holiday ideas or anything that has a high mineral content that you want us to carbonize, just comment below and use the hashtag Carbonize This. We'll see you on the next video.